Today we'll talk about another important topic of dimension model design phase. People often think that being a developer, report developer or data modeler, or when you work in BI, all these things are only part of business analyst team, or this is only done by project managers. This is not exactly the truth. Everyone, whoever work in BI domain, should be knowing all these concepts and should be smart enough to identify dimension, process, and the better you understand business process, the right solution you can design for your business. So in today's session, I would be paying significant attention on how to identify business processes. It is greatly depends upon business to business, how to identify dimension, measures, and grain. All the example I'm going to give you, all are real examples, and some example are in from my own business. So why not we do business intelligence to the domain or a business we are working with, whatever experience you have. So I'm going to talk about my own business, a typical education business. So I have an online education business, and I want to implement business intelligence in my own environment. 10 years back we used to have few people, and now we have more scalability. There are more students, more courses, more trainer. So in order to manage the whole process, we want to implement business intelligence and understand our business in a more better way. So any business process, it's a sales, marketing, finance, procurement, HR, consists of business objects. There are certain elements. So a business process set of related activities. What activities happen in my case? We have an activity, we run different campaign, course training program. We run different campaign. My promotional team design a campaign, they run a campaign, they do email marketing, magazines, online training and all. And after running a campaign, they generate the leads. Leads, potential students or my customers who are willing to go ahead and take up our training program, or they give us some opportunity to penetrate into system. So this leads get into, this is first process, running campaign, this is generating lead. Third is the leads is assigned to lead manager. So for example, I get a lead for consulting activity in Hyperion or OBI, I would assign this thing to my respective lead manager. The lead manager follow up, and the follow up, then we identify the leads, what leads are meaningful, what leads are not meaningful. So we qualify the leads and understand what leads are genuine, so that it could be assigned to the which can convert to our potential business, and categorize leads. Finally do follow up. You see, any business in the world, there is a certain process, a process is followed. Whichever business you understand, there is a certain process, and understanding this process is the first step towards understanding design a BI solution. We want to automate and streamline the same process and associate with business intelligence, so that we can make out some important decision. Every week I get 1,000 mails. Out of 1,000 mails, all mails may not be meaningful to me, right? So the first step, in order to understand, implement business intelligence in my own domain, I come up with a list of objects or elements which are contributing to my business. So one of my object is a student, right? A student, one of the important elements. We have a trainers, they communicate to each other. These objects, we have got courses, learning material, and training manager. So the first step, when you start, then later on you convert the same object in terms of tables, and you call a term called logical data modeling, physical data modeling. You use such a complicated term. But the baseline of this to understand a business is to recognize all the important objects. Then once you identify all the objects, you need to design a relation between them. Also, people think all these objects are different departments. Objects may not always be department. Multiple objects may work together and form one business process. For example, in my company, I've got multiple departments. Okay, BISP solution. We have got promotional team, we have marketing team, promotional team. There are various teams, sales team. Are these each team is one department or one solution. This is not. People think business process is just a departmental wise. This is not. It's a process wise. Solution could be departmental. Maybe I have one team called shipping. We have one team for promotional. We design promotional campaign. So I may relate them and say, as a result of some campaign I did or some promotional activities we design, I have basic question as a company CEO: how much money invested in each course marketing, and how much actual conversion happened? How much money we invest on each course in different marketing activities or promotional activities, and as a result of this, how many leads generated, and in turn convert them into business. Now if you look at carefully, this is one logical process flow. It's not one departmental process flow. My promotional activity may in turn communicates to sales. It is related to sales. As a result of promotion, my sales grow up, right? So business process is not departmental. They are process oriented. Shipping is also process. Sales is process oriented. When I increase my marketing activities, it in turn improve my sales. This is what exactly happened. So departmental wise solution we never find. We find process wise solution. Okay. Process wise solution in turn may be a cross departmental. Another example, as a CEO of a company, I may like to know what should I do? What should I do to improve my sales? This is one line statement. What should I do to improve my sales? This is one liner statement. Then we design a solution departmental wise. Everybody sells me. Increase promotional activities, which in turn improve my sales. How, or I should write more generic statement. What should I do to increase my company revenue? So I increase promotional activity, which in turn improve your sales. Second activity we do, reduce expenses, which in turn impact my revenue cut, improve my revenue cut. So all these activities are interrelated. When you design BI solution, if you are a developer, you will think in terms of tables, right? These are tables or entity or a dimension: student, trainer, course, learning material. These are tables, and you need to define a joining between them. You must have heard of join time, echo join, left outer join. So they are the origination of this start from here. Next, identify business process requirement. When you identify business process for a dimension model, you collect the following metadata. Most important element of any design process are metadata. Metadata, let me open my OBA also. I'll show you some graphical component as well. I'll try to visualize the concept. So what is metadata? Data about data. Now imagine I need, as a user, I need to bring some information. I need simple information: promotional cost versus increase in sales. Increase in sales in my business intelligence courses. This is my query. Now, in order to, when I write this query as a business user, I don't know about what tables are used, what columns are used, what keys are used. I don't know anything about it. So metadata contain all this information. In large enterprise, same information may be stored in multiple places. It may be stored in multiple places and multiple instances. So you may see, I need promotional details. I have got one promotional detail table called TBL promotions. I have got one table called SRC source promotion. Well, if I try to prepare my query on my own without any support, it becomes quite difficult for me. I have got one table called DIM promotion. They have a different meanings. TBL is a table, source, and dimension. what table, what column, what keys, joins I should use. All this information exists in your metadata. Tables or dimension, what columns, keys, joins, constraints, and etc. These information in their metadata, and this is one of the most important element of design your solution. Metadata you may get as in terms of, if you're so lucky enough, you may get metadata already exists in your underlying metadata sources. It may be a set of tables. They're nicely organized, related to each other, which has set of dimensions. You have column properties, keys, join, constraints, and all. So if you're lucky enough, you get information this way, or you may get information in simple set of business requirement documentation, which doesn't exactly say just by reading, going through it, it doesn't tell you exactly from where you need to pull data. So metadata is first important thing which you need to identify. Business requirement for the selected business for which you will design the dimension model. Selected business for which you design the dimension model. So I already take a first step. I took a first step and I identify my subjects. Now I can in turn nail down this detail. Student, I would say student. I further say student personal details. Students are international students, domestic student, student come for academic course, student come for professional training program. I can further go down and say trainers, I have in-house trainer, external trainer, different courses. So by looking at the requirement, I can further nail down and prepare a metadata. Identify business processes. Business process in turn drive your logical model, and which in turn design your physical model. So the one simplest line of process flow, you free business process by reading business processes. You identify objects, business objects or elements, right? These business objects map to your logical structure. Logical structure in, you may call this, you create ER model, entity relationship model, ER model, where you say what are your ER, what are the entities. In my case, entities, one entity is student, one entity courses, then how this communicate. One student may take multiple courses. Is one-to-many cardinality. One student take many courses, or other way around also. One course can be taken by many students. So this is how you prepare your ER model. One student can course many course, one course taken by many students. So you identify business process, you identify object and the relation between them. What is source system to be used? See, source system, from where do I get the business leads? What is your source system? In my case, my source system is, I get business leads from YouTube, I get business lead from my blogs. See, YouTube is unstructured data, semi-structured. I get all the comments from my client. When I'm designing a big enterprise solution, the people who view my YouTube, they add comments in YouTube. So this is, comments is my source. It's a semi-structured data, right? It's not a RDBMS. Similarly, I get comments from my blog. It is also semi-structured data. I cannot directly use them. My structured data, I get inquiries from my website, BISP site, and the data come from BISP site is structure. It comes from Oracle, is structured data. This is my example. In a large big enterprise, data source come from various sources. These days source data has become so vast. People are preferring to use Facebook for client communication, client interaction. That's, maybe they want survey or so, customer survey, all these things. They are large. The greater volume of revenue the Facebook gets from customer survey for advertisement, right? So one of my data sources is Facebook. You may have data source, this is example of semi-structure. My some data coming from some of my business users are not technical savvy. They put all the data into Excel sheet. So semi-structured data, I may have some data coming from technology. I'm using PeopleSoft, Oracle PeopleSoft for campus recruitment. I'm using Oracle apps for financial solution. So your source could be technically functionally disparate. This is all you need to identify. You definitely have a data quality issue. Simplest example, when you enter a business process, you also pay attention. I'm designing my solution where I want to get customer satisfaction details from Facebook, and I design nice form where I say, do you like my product? How much do you grade? Blah blah blah. There is one column called comments, right? In a customer survey, there's a column called comments. In comments is just a text box, and in text box we have a text box where we say write your comment. Some of my customer write a smiley face, some people write some bad word. It's common, right? People don't like product. We cannot use this data directly for my BI reporting. I need to do some basic transformation. The smiley face, I say I convert customer is happy. More simple example, right? It could be simple transformation, it could be complex transformation. I may have data quality issue, my process is wrong, my ETL is wrong, people who entering data is maybe incorrectly entering data. There could be many numerous data quality issues that also we need to identify while defining processes. And then you have business related metadata and report mockup. This is what I'm going to talk next to the slide. What are business requirement element? When you go through your business design document, BRD or functional design document, okay, these are some of the questions you need to answer. Often this is answered by your project managers or the people who communicate directly to the client. In my case, when I get what set of questions I have, I go back and tell my business team, my technical team, hey, I need this information on day-to-day basis. How many leads I'm getting every day? Right. This is my business query. I would like to see my leads based on subjects. See, I'm getting data from in semi-structured format in YouTube, but it is not meaningful to me directly. I cannot use it directly for any other purpose. I'm getting data from YouTube, from blog, but it doesn't answer any one of the above questions. So it is required to go through some process where we clean them and put them into a meaningful way so that business people can query it. It's actionable. I would convert this into actionable data into meaningful information. So my question is, how many training leads are coming daily? Some training leads are coming from YouTube, some from blog, which is required to be consolidated. I would like to categorize them based on subject. How many leads my business team is converting from leads to actual admission, right? I like to see what is my average revenue I'm getting from my subject Oracle, from Oracle training. How much revenue I'm getting? What are top 3 subjects? Top 3 subjects which will give me a set of revenue. So similarly, your business user come with list of hundreds of questions. This become my first step to design a report. See, conventional business intelligence, again, if you work on conventional BI solution, answer list of predefined question. Conventional business intelligence answer list of predefined question. You must have heard of term called data exploration or data discovery. Data discovery answer list of unknown question. Even you don't know the question, right? So for example, right, something is completely unusual. I never ask such question. I find when I organize my data by playing around the numbers, I found something unusual. I never ask this question. I say people from EST time zone or people from PST time zone do not opt Oracle course delivered by Indian trainers. That's unusual thing, right? The 3 times. So three things: time, course, and trainer. Three different elements are related to each other. But I never thought of this way. I had no question. Even I did not know whether it is possible or not. So data discovery is all about talking about list of unknown questions. Conventional BI talk about list of known questions. New generation solution is built on top of that. Now business processes are related, as I said. This is an example. This business process relation will help me to design, go to the next level. That's called ER model, entity relationship model, which in turn, if I'm designing a ERP solution, like I'm designing ERP solution or CRM solution, customer relationship management solution, this business process will help me how they relate to each other. And on top of this business process model, which is generic English language, you design uniform modeling, you do UML, uniform modeling you do, which is more technical, but the origination is this. So in my case, look at this, how things are related to each other. We have learning contents. Learning contents are provided to classroom training. Classroom training has a student which has a trainer, right? How many objects are there? Trainer, student, and classroom, right? We have a marketing team, we have a content development team who prepare learning material, multimedia. So these are my employees. Employees prepare learning material. So now they are related. Now learning material is also sold for self-learning, third object. In order to prepare learning material, I need office. Office means capital expense. I need to invest capital. So you see how I design my model. I need office. Office is my capital expense. I need employees. Employees form my workforce. Right? This is my current model. In order to answer future business question, these objects will help me. Let's say example of office and employee. I like to see what we revise this question. How many employees, as a CEO I ask you, how many employees and capital we needed, capital or simple word building, system, office. How many employees capital needed to revise my revenue to reach to $100,000. I want my revenue to be reached to $100,000. How many more employees I need? My question in reverse order. How many more employees and capital I need in order to reach to $100,000 as revenue? So I just pass this question to my HR team. We'll pick up this business process and identify what is my employee productivity, how much they work for 8 hours, and how many hours more needed per day to prepare learning material, 100 videos, which in turn add 1,000 USD per week, which in turn add me 100,000 revenue. See, they are related. So to drive this relationship, all objects are correlated. I'm sure you must have heard of, there are many kind of analytics are there in the world these days. The kind of analytics are, we have HR analytics. There are many products these days, like Oracle has a Tableau, now Taleo. Oracle has a Taleo. There are a couple of products from different company which are, they do HR analytics, right? How many employees we needed. For example, your company CEO is retiring in next 6 months. Then we need a talent management. Talent management, I'll identify. It's a proper process. Identify the next CEO. So what are the different parameters we would be evaluating based on education, based on experience, so if there are 1,000 candidates to be evaluated, you cannot manually evaluate them. You need a system which evaluate their performance. Talent management, you need a tool called talent management. You need tool who look after your expenses. Workforce planning, you need a planning process, workforce planning. You need to evaluate how many employees you need in order to reach certain goal. You need a financial planning. So all these activities are related to each other when you as a part of a design process. Now this I like to explicitly mention once again. Any BI solution these days, conventional or new generation BI solution, uh, need to deal with very high volume of data, and especially the complexity has grown up a lot with the introduction of big data and the product like Google has its own source system. Google uses BigQuery to process data. There are many cloud-based vendors like Salesforce. There are Amazon. So data is not conventional data where you used to have data in RDBMS. Data is structured data like RDBMS, Oracle, SQL Server, semi-structured and multidimensional database like Microsoft SSAS, Oracle, Hyperion Essbase. There are many vendors. These provide multidimensional database. Semi-structured data from various people, various apps, social networking site, Scribe, YouTube videos, WordPress. So many sources are there to generate your system, right? So you have a structured, you may have completely unstructured data. Some customer has, you have an option, you're given an option, upload, let's say, upload your review in videos. Some people has prepared a YouTube video about my product and sent to me a link. Now YouTube video is a completely unstructured data. I cannot use it directly. So the sources of data become very high these days. Data quality issue, as I discussed, data quality issue maybe at departmental level, maybe enterprise level. This is handled in this way. Most of the vendors these days like Informatica has their own product for data quality concern. All the ETL product which deal with data extraction and quality check, they have got own product. ETL process is also, it's also process driven. You don't, you can't find inconsistency when you are processing 100,000 rows every day or even billions of rows every hour, right? You cannot process manually. Neither you can process through a predefined set of rules. Rules could be, data quality issue could be pretty complicated, simple to complicated. Sometimes they are functional based. Now look at this issue, data quality issue. This is not exactly issue, this is functional constraints. Bank of America acquire Maryland, right? And when they acquire, naturally they need to integrate their financial system. Here the problem comes. I was part of this. Maryland was a big customer of Oracle. They use Oracle apps, whereas Bank of America, some of their line of business they use SAP products. Some of them they use Oracle apps as well. Now problem over here, they have their own ways of data they use their own convention. Now Bank of America use a GL number, general ledger, where they follow this format. They start with alphabets, 3 characters of alphabets, and then some numbers. Whereas Maryland follow only numbers. Their GL system is only numbers. So, for example, I say AST 001. What does mean asset? Short term asset. 001 says cost center 001. Maryland do the same thing. They also have a short term for 001 means cost center for admin expenses. Short term asset, let's say cash on hand. They have one short term asset. Maryland also have same element, but they use a different term. Anything start with 3. They say anything start with 3 is an asset. Anything start with 09, which is called your short term. And the last remaining other characters are 8 and blah blah blah. Other characters are my cash on hand. So it's the same element, it's the same financial element, but they have a different name. I can't use them to. When you prepare your integrated system, you cannot keep two GL for same activity. You need to integrate them. This is one data quality issue. Data quality issue functional based. It is not quality issue. It should be mapped exactly. So it could be simple example. It could be very complex mapping issue which pop up. So this is the proper way it's to be dealt with. We have a profiling of data. We'll put the data in a certain order. We do a profiling of it. Establish a matrix and define target. Establish matrix. It's a pretty complicated. It is done by subject matter expert from a business team. See, for us as a developer or technical team, everything is a number for you. For us, everything is a number. But business they have a meaning with a number. So, well, I don't know, this all complexity I was not aware of. Right? I don't know, even if I mapped with the wrong number, for me, just one number change. You made it 4 to 2, but completely meaning got changed. So they define data inconsistency can be maximum up to 0.02%. Up to this percent of inconsistency can be tolerated or managed. You set up certain benchmark. Out of it means if you're mapping 100,000 financial elements, only one financial element may have inconsistency. This level of accuracy you set. So this is your subject matter expert define what inconsistency, what could be, to what extent it could be tolerated. It depends upon how exactly happen, depends upon business to business. So these are all part of your business design documentation. What level of inconsistency can be tolerated, what should be. Then as per the business design document, as a developer, I design matrix, mapping sheet, design and implement quality rules. Another simple example, when data comes from source system. Well, I'm using my general ledger from India, right? I'm using Oracle apps and I'm using localization as I'm using localization in India, right? So in India, when you prepare a GL statement, we write my source system has got a number called revenue. It is like this, 1 lakh. How do you write 1 lakh? You write INR, but when you integrate with another GL system from, they're also using Oracle apps with localization as USA. They also say revenue, but the revenue they represent with the decimal value changes. They call this 100,000, we call 1 lakh. This is such a silly thing, but this makes a difference, isn't it? This is the difference between data presentation. So what, it could be trivial, a simple like this. It could be complicated, like mapping your financial system. So design and implementation quality rule. Here your ETL developer come up with a list of parameters. What rule, program, procedure, functions he is going to write to deal with this inconsistency. This is called data quality checks. This is all done as a report developer. We are not directly involved into that, but if there is anything incorrect, if they do anything wrong, it will pop up in my reporting system. My report sit on top of, after all this process completed, we build report. So if they design a wrong mapping, it will be visible in my reporting system. Therefore, we need to be very careful, and it is good if you know some important data quality rule, because if anything go wrong, people think it's yours, your solution is wrong, but actually the data quality rules written by your developer is wrong. Data quality and data integration process. You see DI. So actually this one is DI process, the one example I've given you for financial. It's a data integration process, and this is data quality check. Then it is being reviewed by, make a note. As a technical people, it's pretty difficult for us to do a data testing. You know, I see there are people who train on data testing and blah blah. It is almost impossible, because if you're working in financial domain, your rules are different, your definitions are different, your business process is different. Data testing could be on predefined rules, but Real data testing is done by only business team because they know how business work. Therefore, in the real world, you have a UAT. In a large big enterprise, in a user accept and test, after you do data quality check or data integration test, you prepare some sample report, intermediate report, and give it to your business user and ask them to do a UAT, user acceptance testing. Here they identify, they put their sample data and compare with their actual data. I show you one requirement. I have one. I have one requirement where we tested this UAT test. Give me a minute. Okay, this is one sample data I got from my client. Okay, what my client do? They prepare two sheet. Sheet one is called blast data, blast or sample data, right? Which they got from their other system. And sheet one and sheet two, it could be you don't do it in Excel sheet. I'm just giving an example. And the say process data. So you compare the data, the ETL rule you have written, data quality rule you have written, and the data come from a system. They should be exactly same. So I get sample data. Here I write a variance. Maybe it's something like this. I make a copy of this. This is the data I got from my client. My client says post processing, your data and my data should be identical. Your output and my output should be absolutely same. So these all activity we do. It is done by a subject matter expert under review, execution and defined rules. And then finally we have final level testing called integrated testing with your subject matter expert, monitoring data and quality versus target. All the quality parameter you set, it is being evaluated. And this is very, very rigid for a financial system. The data quality issue is one thing you need to deal with. Once you deal with data quality issue, you need to come up technical and business metadata. Okay. The metadata is the data warehouse, system hold, definition, meaning, and all. Right? I give you two systems and you tell me which one is easy for you to query. One system we have a core system from a source system. Let's say I give you one model and we have a set of questions and we see can we answer these questions. This will help you to understand why do we need business metadata. So it's taking a little time because my server is not my local server, it's a remote server. Okay, let it come. Now this is your source system, right? If I give you this source system and ask you to prepare any report, it may be a little difficult for you. Look at my model. In this model, this is my source system. So complicated. See, so many tables are there. It's a one piece of this. I've taken a departmental view. Right? And this has got multiple tables, multiple facts. The model is pretty complicated and cannot be directly used for reporting purpose. You can never use it for reporting directly. There's so many joins. Right? You cannot interpret this. Even if you give this, if I give you this model as a report developer, it's quite difficult for you as well. Right? So what we do, we prepare a layer of abstraction. Layer of abstraction we call simplify this model. So you have what you see is a technical metadata. Right? Technical metadata you use some lot of abbreviation, TBL, complex words you use. You use more GL, 001, something like this. We need to convert to business metadata. See, what you see in your screen is a pretty complicated, but I remodel it, reorganize, reface in a simplest way, and now this is how it look like to the end user. It seems my system got stuck up. Anyway, I show you. It looked like pretty simple to my end user in a way that they can easily query on top of that. Let me reboot my VM. It could be any tool. You can use OBI, Cognos, SAP, Tableau, ClickView, Spotify, any tool you can use. But the ultimate objective is to simplify this such a complicated model in a way that people can answer queries. Even report developer cannot understand this. So we put layer of abstraction. What does layer of abstraction do? It simplifies model step by step. Okay. I show you. The whole model will split into different pieces. Logical unit. This is my business user. So when I convert this into business metadata, we'll talk about business vocabulary. How business think about it? Business think time is a time dimension. This is time business vocabulary. But in real world, I've got so many tables for time dimension. You see, there are 5 tables for time dimension, 3 tables, one for day, one for month, one for quarter. I cannot give this for my business user to query directly on top of that. Neither as a report developer you can query. There are 3 tables. There are 5 tables for revenues, 4 tables for products. This is pretty difficult. So I need layer of abstraction, means simplify the model step by step in a way that we convert this into a meaningful format to my business user. All reporting tools in the world do the same thing. In OBI, we call this RPD. We call this RPD. Major vendors, Cognos, we call this framework manager. In SAP VO, we call this universe. So different product call different terminology, but overall objective is remain same. Simplify the model, convert into business language so people can query. So that's one most important thing we need to do along with business user to understand how they think about the data, in which context they want the information to be presented to them. There are list of activities. These all elements are part of your business design document. When you further put into your technical design document, low level design document, I'll read few of them. What processes are used to create metadata? How do you refine your metadata? Because you have got 50 tables for product, 20 tables for customer, 60 tables for account. You need to refine them, right? You need to refine your metadata. You also need to define data refinement, like data quality check we discussed. So there step of list of processes are written in which we will pick up only those which are relevant for our activity. For report development, we need metadata and data. We assume the data comes to us is already consistent. It is an assumption, right? If any inconsistency in data, we cannot do anything as a report developer. It comes from the source system. Metadata contain all this information. Business process requirement, you must have heard of, there are various tools which talk about uniform modeling. We do modeling activities which talk about how to process speak to each other. How process UML modeling tool. So after designing metadata, you will plan to prepare your reporting solution. You identify your object and how they speak to each other. That will also be part of your business design document. The next activity we'll discuss in greater detail in subsequent session called report mockup. As I said yesterday also, your user do not know exactly what they need. So we put some sample data into tables. If you don't have real data, you put some sample data and prepare some sample report and give it to the user and say, this is how we are going to design our solution. Next, biggest activity in this process and require real amount of experience in business and technology. This is called identify dimension and fact. My approach of identify dimension fact is pretty straightforward. We directly identify dimension fact from requirement. Take a requirement and tell you the easiest way of recognizing dimension. Okay. Take an existing report. I'll take some real report. It is little bulky, take some time to open. Take any real report, text. Your dimension, define context, and fact define measures. Anything in the world is defined is dimension and measure. Go to your kindergarten, your school days. In your school days, what you used to get? Report card, right? Everybody's scared of this. Report card. What report card consists of? Subjects and marks, right? What is subjects? How much marks you get in mathematics? You get 80 out of 100, right? So what is your subject? Subject become your dimension. What is marks? Marks become your facts. That is the first time in your life you in your kindergarten itself you face dimension and fact. But in large enterprise they are more sophisticated and more detailed. Let's take an example. First report called head count report, the simplest and first report any HR people deal with. HR, head count number of employees. So what dimension I have got? Dimension for each year, every year, how many employees I have each year. And what is my fact? Number of employees. Number of employees and new hires. These are my facts. Another simple report which you find in almost all business in the world. Expenditure and revenue, right? So different expenditures. Expenditure in what context? See, I'm trying to identify my expenses in different years and different line of business or business vertical, like customer care, finance, HR, training, procurement. These are my line of business. So what is my dimension? Context. I'm trying to evaluate my expenses with respect to year and line of business. So my measure is, or my fact is, expenses. Any report you see in the world, you would be able to identify dimension fact in 1 minute. Again, the revenue in this example. What is my dimension? We are trying to identify our revenue in different line of business, banking and financial, telecom, major. So maybe I can say my dimension is line of business or business vertical or market, revenue market. And what you are trying to evaluate facts. What is the facts? Your revenue. That's the easiest way of the world to identify dimension and fact by looking at the existing report. Sometimes your dimension facts are well organized like this. You get a predefined list of dimension fact in a well organized manner. If you're lucky enough, we'll continue talking about dimension fact in greater detail in tomorrow's session as well. The first baby step is to understand what is dimension, what is fact. Another important decision you take after identify dimension fact is granularity, grains. What level detail your business want? For a transaction system, I need year, quarter, months, days, weeks, days, and I need every hour transaction. Maybe every minute transaction I need. If I'm designing retail solution for retail system, for retail sales or sales order processing, I'm doing sales order processing. I need to capture my transaction happening at every minute, and accordingly I need to allocate for shipping and other activity. Whereas I am designing financial solution, right, where I need only year, half year, and quarter. Right? Only 3 level I need, because you must have heard of some company publish their yearly closing statement, yearly financial statement, right? Financial statement. So I need year. What data I need? I need yearly financial statement. Company publish their half year financial statement, and they publish their quarterly financial statement. They don't publish monthly financial statement. Right? So what kind of hierarchy you need, what detail or information you design depends upon what kind of business domain you are working with. You're working finance, retail or finance. We'll be doing a complete case study of building up a retail case study where we'll capture data from source, we do data cleansing, scrubbing, data quality check, and build complete report in our last session. Right, so that's whatever I explained you. The next is given the slide. They've given a different example, and that's our solution, my final enterprise solution. We are confined as a developer, report developer. We are working at reporting section. One layer go over here. We work on reporting solution. We continue talking about this in tomorrow's session as well. We are running short of time now, and we discuss all the important elements of today's session.